Mayor Jones.
Thank you. Okay, well, now I've been making lots of notes as staff was talking about things. So let me just try to ask a few questions, and then I have a few comments based on my planning staff's delving into the regional plan as far as it pertains to our city. And so one quick question that just occurred to me: if we're modeling in general areas that open space is located, I'm not sure how we can't be saying that that space is not going to be used if that's the only area within the actual modeling areas that we're talking about. And then, so you can get back to that, but you know, one of the things that you had said, Colleen, that really I wanted to make crystal clear is you're just talking about the 78 connectors being completed and then having 2 managed lanes on the 78. So where are those managed lanes going to be located?
So right now, you know, again, this is at the 50,000 foot level. What we envision is using the shoulders for one of the managed lanes and then repurposing one of the general purpose lanes to be a managed lane. So it'd be 2 managed lanes in each direction and 2 general purpose lanes in each direction.
So does Caltrans currently allow the shoulders to be used? Because I thought we had talked about that many years ago. If we have stranded cars that have broken down or situations like that, where would those go? How would that be safe? Because we're already concerned now with people using the emergency lane in the median and then also the shoulders if they break down. How would we be able to accommodate their safety, their full safety?
Mayor Jones, I just want to we did have discussion with the director of Caltrans on Michigan last week, actually. Caltrans, we're working with Caltrans District 11 and the headquarters about using the shoulders, but also taking an existing general purpose lane and converting it would require a state legislation and would require actually a federal legislation that the director of Caltrans is aware of and facing in other regions. So yes, they will allow us in certain cases to use the shoulders, but we'll still need a state legislation to be able to take an existing general purpose lane to make it.
One of the most dangerous things is when your car breaks down and you're in the shoulder now. That's where most people are actually killed. It's very unsafe. Okay, just want to bring that up. And then, so when we're talking about a vision and a guidance of new growth being limited to only mobility hubs, which in some cases is the unbuildable property, I just want to make note that I am very concerned about that. We value our open space here in San Marcos, and we are absolutely, I would not be supportive of any plan countywide, to be honest, that would infringe on any open space or park area or anything like that. So I think we really need to be very careful when we're talking about these general areas that oftentimes are incorporating that open space area. So I just want to make mention of that.
I think it's very important, if I may, just Mayor Jones, just to make sure we're very clear. When we did the allocation of housing in these general areas, anything that was identified as, you know, had a land use code on it that we know from your local jurisdiction that said open space, that was not an area that received units. That was not considered sort of a receiver site. So I want to make that really clear. Open space is important, whether it's backcountry open space or urban open space.
Okay, so my city staff is actually, my planning staff is working on preparing our comments. We're sending the letter over sometime today, but I just wanted to make mention of a couple of our different items that we're really focusing on, and that is that the VMT accomplishes state goals, but it also requires local jurisdictions to actively engage in TDM program implementation. And then also note that the GHG regional plans does not achieve the state's reductions, which you already had mentioned earlier. But one of the most important things is they're preparing the comments, But the key concerns that we have right now are related to the land use model assumptions and the assurance that the funding will materialize and be prioritized for North County projects. And that would include examples like the 78, which was promised to the voters of all of San Diego County in Transnet. And so when we're talking about, which we just talked about a moment ago, the 78 and repurposing a lane that already was not talked about as being a managed lane, and people paying to actually drive in that lane. So that's essentially eliminating a lane for all of North County to use. And, here in San Marcos specifically, we have a lot of challenges with traffic in itself. And when you're pushing people off of the 78, as Mayor Matt Hall had specified a little bit earlier, you're really going to hurt my city, because we have already about 40,000 students that come into San Marcos on a daily basis with CSU San Marcos, and then also Palomar College. And then we also have St. Augustine and some other smaller colleges. So we've got a lot of people moving through our city. And when you're talking about moving them from the 78 onto the local roads, that's what happens when you start charging people to drive on a road that they can't afford to drive on. You're forcing them onto local roads. So I want to make sure that we do pay very close attention to this and how this plan will affect our communities, and how much it will cost and take away our quality of life, because that's going to be a consideration that we certainly need to keep in mind. And that's really all I have to say today. Thank you.